Alright, time to do Mist Memoria, that final level, where we have our little boss gauntlet thing going on. And we're going in with Kefka, Garnet, and Relm. Kefka is going to use powerful debuffs, obviously, to gimp the bosses, because that's what Kefka does. Well, I mean, you know what everybody does. Garnet for Peril Enchant, and Healing, and Relm to do what Relm does. So, this worked pretty well. One of the tricky things about this stage is you don't know exactly how many turns it's going to take before you drop below score. But we make it work. So I'm going to do an early hyperdrive here, despite it not being the optimal time to use it, and that will get Kefka's attack down, defense down, and speed down debuffs framed. That way Kefka doesn't have to fight with Relm or with Garnet for debuff space. There's a decent amount of debuff management going on in here, and hyperdrive definitely helps with that. So Relm is going to get Sketch on A first, since A takes their turn first. We'll Sketch Plus on B, which will give Relm another turn just before B. And then Relm will get their free turn after B, her free turn right after B. I don't remember if these bosses enrage or not, but we take them down pretty close to the same time. And this is a pretty small team. This team worked well together. Kefka gimps the bosses pretty darn hard. Relm provides a good amount of battery and some good auras, although one of the problems with Relm's auras is that they don't happen until the final battle, and only if she's at full HP. One brave damage is all it took to break Relm. That happens sometimes. But whatever. Not a big deal. I take a decent amount of braves here because breaks here because I just don't care. Sketch Summon to Battery everyone up, and get those buffs on Relm. I was doing HP attacks with Relm earlier because I want to try and use her skills on her free turns as opposed to her HP pluses. That way Star Prism charges up. Havoc Wing to deal a lot of damage. And to improve the sap effect from Kefka's debuff, his Laughing Clown or whatever it is. Yeah, the debuff when that the enemy starts with at the beginning of the wave, Kefka's debuff that he provides that the enemy starts with actually only has half the sap effect. I'm not entirely sure why, but it's been like this for a very long time, so it's probably intentional. We're switching to Garnet's Aquamarine in order to keep the Brave regen buff up on everyone, and then I think and Charger, you have to move faster before I need it. But I think for this team, the 60% Brave well, it's not really Brave refund, 60% Brave battery that Garnet's HP plus provides while using the Aquamarine buff is pretty handy. So 60% of the damage that Garnet does gets battery to her allies. If you look at the turn order, you can see Kefka's speed down debuff is really paying off for this battle. It doesn't look like they're designed to have high speed, which makes sense because, I mean, excluding Zidane, I guess, the banner that came out with this battle doesn't exactly lower speed, and Vivi's the prize of the banner, of course. Well, as they say, Vivi's the prize. I mostly pulled for Zidane, and got Zidane on my free pull. Did I pull for Vivi? No. Will I regret it? Probably. But I'm keeping my resources for challenge quests right now, and Vivi didn't come out with a challenge class. So I was like, well, it's okay. Let me give this Abyss a shot without Vivi, and I was able to do all with Garnet. So that worked. Even though I don't think Garnet's on the banner, but Garnet still counts as a Final Fantasy IX character. So that worked. Havoc Wing to break A. Just get it over with. Soul's favorite enemies, because they like to just sit there and chat. Let's see. So what I'm doing, so Sketch ran off of B, but I'm going to wait for my free turn on A to reapply Sketch. The Sketch debuff. Meteor Plus with Kefka, because he had a little bit of Brave already. He wasn't at max Brave, so that's no point in HP Plussing. Although it's good to use Meteor Plus over HP Plus if you can, because of the splash damage. I mean, yeah, there's Bravery fun, but Kefka so rarely needs that with all the sap he gets from the enemies. There you go, Star Prism now. So that's a great way to be efficient with Relm, at least budget Relm. I know with if you invest ingots into Relm, her Star Prism charges up a lot faster. It was nice to be able to bring Relm to this. She's so powerful. Do the launch on A. There we go. Nice little launch there. Nice to get when we can. Quite a good launch. I agree with this. I think the Aquamarine, of course I agree with it, I did it. The Aquamarine stance, I think, is better for Relm in this, for Garnet in this case, because of all the battery it provides to the allies. Unfortunately, the Bravery gen's a little low, because only Garnet. Yeah, that was smart, because Trinity Hurricane's about to come up. And it doesn't do a lot of Brave damage, but if somebody gets broken, then it really hurts. You can tell when Trinity Hurricane's coming up, because, well, for one, it happens when they're low on HP, and it's going to be all attack. Just make sure you're prepared for it, and as long as nobody gets broken, shouldn't have too many issues. The only thing is, Garnet's the only healer on our team, so we have to wait for her EX to charge up. And Garnet's at only 2 ingots, so it charges a little slower than normal. Funny, even with 3 turns, with 3 moves in 1 turn, they can't do that much Brave damage to Kefka because he gimps their attack so badly. I didn't want to launch there, I wanted to save that launch for Dragon Wave on Garnet. And then he became unlaunchable. So it was like, whatever. So I just did the damage shot. Speed Meteor Plus, or, yeah. Looks like we might be seeing another Trinity Hurricane from B. So probably have to use Deluge. That's another thing about the Aquamarine stance, is it's the only... Oh, nope. Guess not. Oh, right. I see what I'm doing. I'm gonna battery up Garnet with Relm. This might be a Sketch summon, I'm not sure. Nope, just Sketch. That should battery up Garnet a bit. And then we'll just Brave attack here. See, it's like, they're so close. I didn't want to knock B back. Yeah, Trinity Hurricane. I didn't want to knock B back because then Kefka would have had to have wasted a turn attempting to keep Brave up. And Relm would have wasted a free turn attempting to keep Brave up. Spit my Judgment. Kill them both. But oh well. Guess we'll save the skills. Oh, come on. More like 0.1% HP. Yeah, so Star Prism's basically charged up. It's like, do I use a skill and do it? Or do I save the skill and not do it? Pretty sure I just... Oh, no, just HP attack. And Garnet still has a bunch of skills left over. Let's get the Line of Judgment down. And that will scooch Kefka up a bit to get that hyperdrive up and running. And Kefka won't get broken here because Kefka has such a powerful attack down and sap. The only problem is that horse took all of the debuffs off itself, so have to reapply Kefka's Light of Judgment debuff before framing them with hyperdrive. Just have to make sure I don't knock any off with something like Holy Prayer. So this will be a good, probably Super Bowl, yeah. Knocks them both back. And Kefka can hyperdrive here. But we won't. Havoc Wing is up. Which kind of stinks because now I still can't use Holy Prayer, but I guess who cares. Since this won't break anyone, I can be a little risky. That's one thing you have to be careful about with that horse, is it likes to do Brave and HP attacks a lot. Big ones too. Actually, it likes to just do multiple attacks in one turn. I will say though, if you're using Leon, because I know you have to use at least one black crystal here, if you're using Leon, then that horse gets gimped completely. It can't do any Brave damage to you at all, because all of its attacks are either no element or dark element. Leon's actually pretty decent for this, but it's really hard to use Leon as your black crystal and not use anybody else as your black crystal in order to fulfill the crystal requirements. So I guess black and white are your crystal requirements, so you can maybe use 2 black crystals for this, but yeah, it's hard to like not use Vivi for this, or not use Kefka, or not use Noctis, any of the other black crystals that are great for this. Not use Zac, and instead just use Leon. But yeah, Leon's fantastic for this fight. He's not so great for the first wave, but all the other waves either do dark or no elements. Maybe I'll come back and record a Leon run of this eventually. One very difficult thing though, if you're using Leon for this, is that Behemoth, when he charges himself up to 99,999 Brave, Leon's not great for shaving that. Kefka is, because, you know, you can HP silence him and stuff. Although, well, it's even tricky to HP silence him because the Behemoth gives himself 6 frame debuffs. So if HP silence isn't already applied to him, you totally telegraph the move. But if HP silence isn't already applied to him, it's very difficult to apply it. Which totally shuts Arciella out, for example, from relying on her HP silence for this. Yeah, see right now he only gives himself a couple of frame debuffs because Kefka's able to frame his own. So Kefka is a fantastic counter to that guy. That and Havoc Wing, instant breaks. So it doesn't matter how much brave he gives himself. Kefka's like, too bad. So yeah, instant break is fantastic for fighting that behemoth. And, you know, other things delay. You'll want some sort of dispel if you're going to try and face that behemoth and you don't have any frame debuffs of your own, because the behemoth will give himself lots of wonderful frame debuffs for 10 turns too, as you can see. Although I don't know if there's any Final Fantasy IX dispellers out there. I don't think I'll be doing a Final Fantasy IX run of this, although I'm sure it would be quite good due to the fact that I just don't have that many Final Fantasy IX characters built up. I have Garnet, who I use all the time. She's fantastic. Although, I don't know if I technically use Garnet as budget because she has 2 ingots, but I wouldn't. She's super gimped below 2 ingots. Her first ingot is fantastic, her second ingot is very good, and then her third one is like, fine. You know, there's some people who, there's some characters whose first, second, or even third ingot is super, super powerful, and then there's some where they aren't. And Garnet's first 2 are so powerful that she's really, really gimped without it, so I wouldn't run her at anything less than 2 or 1. You know, even Leon, I put 1 ingot into him because his first ingot slot is so powerful. Anyways, I guess I'm ranting. So I'm using lots of Light of Judgments here for the first couple of waves, and then I'm pretty sure I saved Trine for the third wave. That's one of the things about Kefka is, like, how do you use him for these long fights? Because his HP plus is nothing special per se, although at least his Havoc Wing charges up at a decent pace. But it's like, how do you use him for these long fights? And one of the good ways is decide between using Light of Judgment debuffs or Trine's debuffs. Use Light of Judgment debuffs for some ways and Trine for the other one. They're both extremely powerful, but to use all of them at once is probably overkill. Speaking of kill, Kefka almost died there. That's a really powerful attack from that horse, by the way. It can totally catch you off guard. And unfortunately, yeah, Garnet's Holy Prayer isn't up yet. And then that behemoth is about to charge himself up to 99,999 brave. And then it's Kefka's turn, and then he takes a turn right after. So this is super lucky here, but... Oh no, wait, he pushed himself back. Still, Kefka's Havoc Wing was ready for that. I mean... And just instant break. Could not have come up at a better time. I guess Hyperdrive might have done the full 99,999 brave damage too. But yeah, that was just super fortunate. Havoc Wing could not come up at a better time. Well, price. We'll apply Relm Sketch debuff to at least the horse. I don't think we'll be able to get it on the Behemoth for the rest of the round due to the fact that he's full of frame buffs and debuffs already. Good use of Meteor. Had about half brave charged. Thanks to Kefka's defense debuff and Garnet's Imperil Enchant. Oh, well, maybe just his frame debuff, because I don't think Garnet has an Imperil on the horse. But yeah, Meteor hits super, super hard. It's 6 hits. The first hit hits harder than the other 5. Is it 5 or 6 hits? No, I think it's 6 hits. But when Kefka is able to hit for max brave damage on all 6 of those hits, it's just so powerful. And like, I only have one 128 artifact for Kefka. I have 3 Power of Destruction artifacts formed, but then I have 2 max Brave up 330s instead of attack ups. So like technically my Kefka doesn't even hit as hard as like Kefka's could hit. But I would again argue that he just doesn't need it because he hits so hard. Although these guys might have less Brave damage reduction than others. I didn't really look into it. This was like my second time running through this. First time I tried Leon, actually. And then I was like, alright, I got through the first wave. Now the rest of the wave should be cinch. But that behemoth couldn't get around shaving the behemoth down. And then I was like, oh, the turn counter is getting kind of high. Hopefully I don't need to do this in 100 turns. Oh wait, maybe this is only 3 waves. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is only 3 waves, not 4 waves. After this we have the evil count scenes. And yes, they are evil. I don't care what anyone says. Anyone who had to play through. Oh, this could suck. It missed Relm. I think that might have killed Relm. I had a couple of lucky misses through here, didn't I? I know in this abyss down the staircase, one of the requirements was blue crystals instead of white, and I used edge. Or maybe it was blue and white, I don't know. But I used edge for the party-wide evasion. It worked well. I think it was a blue crystal and a dagger, which, you know, for Final Fantasy IX, Zidane, yeah, it's only 3 waves. It's up for Zidane, but I ended up using edge instead, and it worked. Edge just doesn't do much damage anymore, unfortunately. But man, that party-wide evasion. When Edge gets an LD, it's gonna be nuts. So, kind of broke them out of order there. We broke A first because it was a Sketch Plus. That would push Relm's turn in front of A. And then Garnet broke B, and that pushed Relm in front of B. Now, I should have used Sketch on B, but I wasn't thinking. So I only get the free turn after A. Right there. Oh, and another thing. We didn't have full HP going into this wave, so Relm's doesn't have her full buffs for the party, unfortunately. Kind of sucks when that happens. Same with Garnet. She doesn't have her Princess of Alexandria buff or whatever it is, due to not being at full HP. That kind of sucks. If you're bringing Garnet and Relm, I recommend going into this wave with full HP. Still doable though, but you'll notice once they get pretty low on HP, like, we do a lot less damage. Even Relm right there, I'm pretty sure that against the first 2 waves, Star Prism was dealing full 9s to both enemies. We'll frame Kefka's debuffs. That way Kefka doesn't have to fight with Garnet and Relm for debuff slots. And that could have been bad, but luckily they targeted Kefka, who should always have some sort of Brave due to his sap debuff on the enemy. So by the time the enemy takes a turn, he should have some sort of Brave. Pretty much always because of his super powerful sap. And then I start to get a little spammy with Relm skills, because I'm like, what am I saving these for? Even Garnet, like, I was way too conservative with Garnet's skills here. I'd say my pace for Kefka's was fine. You know, I maybe could have snuck in an extra trine or 2, but like, yeah, for Garnet I was way too conservative with skills. And the fact that I couldn't come into this wave with full HP, I think was because of that. With Relm, I was pretty conservative. Ouch. Yeah, see, that's the move you want to look out for. That all-attack Brave plus HP. With Relm, I was pretty conservative as well, but not as badly. And you can be conservative with Relm, especially if you give her 3 ingots and her Star Prism charges up so quickly. Because it's like, the big thing with Relm is you want to keep Sketch up at all times. And you do that either through the sketch move or through Star Prism. So that Relm can take full advantage of all her turns. Her free turns. But, yeah. What was I getting at? I wouldn't say I was too conservative with Relm, because I was able to take great advantage of the free turns that she gets by keeping sketch up. But I probably could have been a little more liberal with him. It's not going to matter. We'll just start dumping skills here. And considering how these count themes have way more brave damage reduction, just natural brave damage reduction. Hey, maybe it worked out that I was so conservative with Relm skills. So here A has two amounts of sketch. Oh, there's that brave plus HP attack. That would have sucked if it hit Relm. Man, I had so many lucky evasions because it would have broken Relm and everybody would have taken a ton of damage. I might have had to have restarted this wave. But anyways, yeah, I was waiting to use Star Prism until Relm got one of those free turns. And I probably could have been a bit smarter about those AoE Brave and HP attacks. But luckily, I got those lucky misses. Those lucky dodges. So Shiva and Ramu. Anyways, we got Count Steam A down to 50%, so now we're going to work on B. So I guess who's good for this? I think Kefka is one of the best Black Crystal users you can bring here outside of Vivi, of course. I'm sure Vivi just makes this fight a joke, but I didn't get a Vivi LD, so whatever. Kefka is absolutely fantastic for Black Crystals on this. For White Crystals, there's plenty of great White Crystals out there. Arciella. A little bit of a skip there. My recorder decided it had reached its maximum recording size and decided to just stop recording. Luckily, I was kind of able to catch it in the middle of that chase there. But yeah, for White Crystals, Arciella is great. Relm is obviously fantastic and still has a banner up. Seymour is a White Crystal user too, although would definitely conflict with Kefka for debuff slots. And some others. Hope's a great White Crystal character. Final Fantasy IX characters, obviously Vivi's the best one to bring to here. Garnet I would say is the second best. I have Beatrix built up, but Beatrix in this game is kind of bad. That's right, I said it. Well, more disappointing is probably more accurate than bad. Now Kefka's Light of Judgment debuffs are about to run out. And one of the tricky things that I have to deal with in this is switching from his Light of Judgment debuff to his Trine debuff successfully. So B should take their turn. Oh, please use Holy Prayer here. Nope. I must be saving it for something. You know, yeah, I know what I'm saving it for. I'm worried about Kefka's... I should probably... Yeah. Like, technically, B already had Star Prism. Oh, that kind of sucks. So I was hoping Kefka's Light of Judgment debuffs would wear off by the time Kefka got his turn, but breaking B right there pushed Kefka in front of B. And so it's like, shoot. Do I risk letting A go with no debuffs at all? And so I summoned. I was like, screw it. They're low enough on HP. It was kind of a tricky situation. But again, B's not going to take their turn before Kefka gets to put Trine up. And so I believe what I do is I just throw Trine up anyways. And then There we go. Finally using Holy Prayer. It's kind of risky keeping everybody low HP like that in case something happens that wasn't calculated. Look at all that brave. What a good launch that would have been. But yeah, good use of Trine right there. To go beyond 99,999 damage. Ended up doing like 79,000 each, which is 140,000 total, or whatever. You can kind of sneak your way above 99,999 damage with split HP attacks like that. So now I frame blind and HP silence on A, so that way I don't have to worry about Garnet pushing it off. And then I also framed, I think, just blind on B, if I'm not mistaken. Can't use HP attacks. So yeah, A is trying to use that multi-hit, multi-stab or whatever, Brave and HP attack. Yeah, I think that miss was for blind, but who knows? Relm's gotten so many lucky dodges that maybe Relm is just magically blessed right now. But A is basically locked until the end of the fight, and an HP attack they're unable to do. Even though... Does A still have speed down? No, I don't think so. Yeah, for speed down from Light of Judgment should be gone from A. Although I have one more Light of Judgment left to apply it, but that would be tricky to try and apply speed down from Light of Judgment and then get Garnet to use one of her skills so that it's still available before framing speed down. Although I think I've used my last hyperdrive anyway, so I don't think I can frame anything else with Kefka. I don't know, who knows. Trine, though, deals a lot of damage, which is really nice. It has the battery based on... Yeah, see, that's what A is trying to do, but I couldn't get HP silence on B to lock him in. And luckily, I had already used Holy Prayer, so Relm didn't die. Yeah, see, look at that. Relm's doing so little damage now due to all the Brave damage reduction that they have, but with Garnet providing battery, with Kefka battering him, with Relm providing a ton of battery. Relm's battery is based on her max Brave, not her damage dealt, whereas Garnet's battery is based on damage dealt, so all that Brave damage reduction drops Garnet's battery. And then Kefka's battery from Trine is based on his current Brave. So like Relm and Kefka are able to battery the heck out of themselves right now. Because Relm doesn't care, her max Brave wasn't reduced through some sort of debuff. But yeah, now the only thing I'm kind of worried about is the turn limit. Like, did the turn count knock me past or below the score? Luckily there's no turn limit with Abyss stages, but... Oh, and they're both at 1% HP. This should kill them both at the same time. So I guess we'll never know if they enrage or not. I'm pretty sure they enrage, though. But yeah, there you have it. No Vivi needed. Although, Vivi's still good. Hold for Vivi if you want. And just barely made that score. I was like, sweet! It was a big sigh of relief because I wasn't sure if I was going to make score or not. So that is no bursts. Stage completed. So that's no bursts. We've got 3 ingots on Kefka. Everybody has their character boards. I'm going to argue perfect artifacts for Kefka. My artifacts for Garnet. Good artifacts for Garnet. Not perfect, but pretty darn good. We have Shantoto's Sphere, Shanto's Sphere, and somebody else's. And yeah, don't look at my Relm artifacts. As soon as I get that mob pass, they'll be fixed. Thanks for watching.